Hi folks, welcome back to the Plain Fun RC channel. I'm your host, Saul. We're starting up our new project right now, which is going to be our advanced scale models to have on DH88 Comet. And you can see some of the specs right here on the manual itself. So it's a good size airplane. We're going to be doing electric. And you can see we've got our center wing section right here. And there's our wonderful fuselage sitting right there. What a gorgeous airplane. Had the good fortune of getting it almost completely ready to fly for only $250 from a guy at a swap meet. Never been flown. Just needs the motors mounted and the ESCs, of course, and the other stuff. But the radio is already installed. I have the wing halves. They're hanging up at the moment. But I'll show you right now, we're in the process of trying to convert over to electric. I've taken the mount out here. We're looking at the right engine, and you can see the mount that comes with it over here. But we'll take it out. If you were want to do it in a glow version, you can see very carefully on the mount, it's already pre-drilled for the motor. And the firewall is also pre-drilled and has the blind nuts put in it. But we're going to have to move those blind nuts around. So anyway, this is the new project right now. It's really kind of cool too, because if you look under here, you can see it's got split flaps, which is really neat. Really neat. So it's been my first airplane with split flaps, as you can see. So let me do that one more time because my big old hand was in the way. There we go. And the single servo is driving both flaps, which is really nice. Makes the setup a lot easier. It's very light. The wing center section is a plywood balsa. You got fiberglass nacelles. Now the fuselage itself, it does have balsa and ply for the formers, but the exterior is like a plastic, which I'm not a big fan of because it's rather easy to squeeze. But you know what? It's got great detail. If you look carefully, look at the rivets. The rivets are actually built into the actual plane itself, and it's got a big giant lens up front. So if you want to put a nice big fat LED in there, you could. And there's more than enough room. Great little cockpit too as well. That comes pre-painted. If you're fortunate enough to find one of these, get it, because it's really nice. Really, really nice. Now, one of the great things about this, let me tip this up a little bit, is it comes with fixed gear. When they would sell it with a pneumatic landing gear. And I did find one for sale on eBay. Last set available. But I have no interest in it because I'm not a fan of pneumatic, and I have no interest in spending the money to get it converted to electric. So we're just gonna stay with the fixed, make things a little easier. But there's a big advantage to staying with the fixed. Let me tip this back up. Look at that big gaping area back there. That is a perfect spot for a nice big fat battery. So I'm kind of anticipating that we're gonna wind up having to put some lead in the nose to offset it, because I would normally cut this up and make a hatch, but you know what? It looks so neat I'm just going to leave it alone. I don't mind putting some lead weight. Fortunately, there's a little hatch built in the bottom. You can see the screws right. See if I can get under there. There it is, right there. But it looks like it's just made to put nose weight up front. There's a little tray on the inside, small tray. Looks like something you just put nose weight on. But I'm going to work on this for right now. The long EC, we're just waiting on a propeller and some bigger wheels, and then she's ready to go. And the pond racer, I finally found a painter. So that's on hold until this thing is painted. So that's what we're waiting on at this time for those two projects. So anyway, while we're waiting, I've got lots of things in the queue. So I figured this one would be kind of neat to do. All right, folks, more to come. All right, folks, continuing with our update here on the advanced scale models de Havilland DH88 Comet. We're looking at the rudder and elevator servos. There's our rudder servo, working really well. No problems there. But our elevator servo is the issue. You can see it hop like a Katharine Hepburn on crack. So that's never good. So we're going to have to replace that elevator servo. So that's kind of where we're at right now. Just checking things out and still troubleshooting how we're going to go about mounting these motors here. So I really want to use the outrunners, but I think I may wind up using the can motors, which I'm not a big fan of. Can motors really need to be geared in order for them to swing a big prop. So anyway, more to come. Hi folks, welcome back to the Plain Fun RC channel as we continue our update on the Advanced Scale Models, or ASM, de Havilland DH88 Comet. So you can see here we've replaced our elevator servo with a nice little Spectrum servo right there, and it's working great, no problems whatsoever. So our radio system in here is good to go. We'll set up our throws and everything once we're done. So I think right now the main focus, well, the next focus, of course, will be we need a little tray right there in between those two formers, something we can put the receiver on. Well, there's a spot up here underneath this hatch, which is designed to hold the receiver. I suspect I'm probably going to wind up using that little tray that's underneath there for a nose weight, since I have to put the batteries back behind the wheel well, which would probably put it slightly after the CG. Not a good idea, but considering this plane was designed for electric, they didn't really take that into consideration. So this is how electric conversions go. All right, more to come. All right, folks, continue with our update here on the de Havilland Comet. Right now we're checking out the flaps, seeing how everything's working. This servo is working great, no problems whatsoever. You can see it's a split flap setup, and to give you an idea what I'm talking about, let's look back here. You can see how it's set up. So the only issue that we're discovering here, let me go ahead and bring the flaps back up. And you're gonna watch the left flap, the one right here. If you look carefully, you can see how it's not sitting perfectly level. And it needs a little bit of trimming, so when I take my finger, I can get it to sit nice and flat. Whoever installed it really should have used CA hinges rather than these pin hinges that you see there, down there. They provide too much of a gap, an unnecessary gap. Like you wouldn't need that much of a gap for the amount of movement. But we've got it set up on a two-way switch. Of course, we'll have, there's the problem right there. So one's coming up, one's not coming up. I mean, one's coming down, but the other one isn't. Let me give it a little pull. There we go. So we've got to fix that left flap right there. No big deal, easy fix. Oh, and then all the way down. And we've got it on roughly about a 6-second delay. So it works great. Just a little trimming, and then we'll be good to go. All right, so more to come. Great. All right, folks, continue with our update here on the de Havilland DH88, excuse me. So we fixed the flap issue. It's not binding anymore. As you can see, when I push down, it doesn't stick, which is great. All we did was just very carefully trimmed away just a tiny, tiny bit right along here. We left the flap alone, but just this portion of the wing, just like about a 1/16 of an inch. But there's another issue. So if you look carefully at the control horns, it's a little tough to tell, but you'll notice how this one here is just a little bit further forward than the one over here. Now, it doesn't seem like much, and you wouldn't think it would have that much of an effect, but when the flaps are up, notice how one flap is a little further up than the other. And that's because the further forward you move a control horn, the more movement there is on the control surface, no matter what the surface is. So watch the flaps as we go into first position. Watch the throw. So you can see it's about even, roughly. But now when we go a little further, notice that right flap, which is over here. Notice how much further down it is than the other. You would think, well, that's not much, but it is, because what will happen is every time we drop the flaps, the plane's going to want to roll left. So I think the simplest fix is we're going to have to reposition these horns a little bit so they are dead even. That's the most important piece, and that should solve the problem. We'll see what happens. All right, more to come.